אמר רבי יצחק, שנה שמלך המשיח נגלה בו, in the year that the Mashiach will be revealed, כל מלכי אומות העולם מתגרים זה בזה. All the kings of the nations of the world are going to be fighting against each other. Now this is the famous Yalkut Shimoni 499 that we've been talking about for over 10 years. And it says, Melech Paras, the king of Persia, mitgareh b'melech Aravi, is going to go against Arabia, which is Saudi Arabia, which we know they don't like them because they want to make peace with us and they don't share the same, philosophy of religion. V'holech melech Aravi la'aram litol etza mehem. And Arabia is going to go to Aram, like Aram Sovan, Aram, which would be Syria, according to some. And we know they have certain relations with Syria. And all this, whatever's been happening in the past. But then this part is what everyone always is talking about. V'chozer melech paras u'machariv et kol ha'olam. The king of Persia is going to at least try to destroy the entire world. I mean, it says here machariv, but it means they will try to. It's God who's going to stop it. Now, of course, you can't destroy the entire world, with guns. It has to be nuclear. How can you get the entire world down? So this is already showing the end of days that there's nuclear possibilities. Of course, they want to do it. Doesn't mean they will. God is going to stop them. But in their minds, they would be happy destroying the entire world. Because even if they think they're going to throw a bomb at somebody, they just think it's going to stop there. Of course, everyone's going to throw one back, so that'll be the end of the world. But of course, God is not going to let that happen, because that's going to, instead, will be the Yemot HaMashiach, like it said here. The year that the king of Mashiach will be revealed. So, okay, so what do you mean the year of? I mean, that's getting a little specific. And now it says, the nations are also going to be in fear. And it says, V'Yisrael, Israel, mitra'ashim or mitbahalim. They're going to be trembling and with fear. Uvenoflim al penehem, and they're going to fall on their faces, and they're going to say, where shall we go? Where shall we go? It says, Lehechan navo v'nelech, Lehechan navo v'nelech, where should we run to? Ve'omer lahem banai al tira'u. Don't be afraid, Hashem says. Kol ma she'asiti lo asiti ela b'shvilchem. Everything I did is for you. Why are you being afraid? And he says, Higia zeman gulatchem. Your time of redemption has arrived. So once we get to this stage, then it's going to be the end, and this will be the redemption already, because it says that straight out. Even before, in other midrashim, it might say there were wars, but it never said that that was going to be the redemption right after. Now, let's understand something about this midrash that, again, we've been looking at for many years. We've all been waiting to see what Persia and Iran is doing. I mean, ever since Obama, building them up and giving them, the nuclear deal and all that. So it's been in our minds for all this time. Now, what changed these days, now we're June 2025. Now, what happened in Israel, Simchat Torah, October 7, about a year and a half ago, when that happened, of course, the rabbis are saying, and still, that is Gog uMagog, which is the last war against Israel, because of all the different signs and whatever reasons why, without getting that into this lecture. So that's Gog uMagog. Now that's the last war. So we thought this midrash was meaning that Persia has gone against Israel through the Hamas, meaning that they funded them. So even Hamas was really Iran. So that was Iran who went against us. But the truth, now looking at what's happening today, we see it didn't fit as a glove so much as it does now, which is Persia themselves is going to go against us. You see, we tried to make it fit for the time, thinking it was the end. We didn't realize there's still a drop more to happen, which is Persia's going to go against us themselves, not just through the Hamas, you see, like a proxy. So it's Gog Magog still continuing. It didn't get to the end yet, even though we hoped it did at that time. But history shows what's next. We can see everything in hindsight. And it actually makes more sense of this midrash, because look what it says. Israel will be afraid, and they're going to say, where should we go? Where should we go? Now, that's not what happened in Simchat Torah. They surprised them like an ambush. They didn't say, where should we run? It happened. It happened, and it was a tragedy, and they didn't know it's going to happen. But now what we see what Iran is doing today, again in June of 2025, when they went against us and threw missiles at us. And this is when Trump, attempting to destroy their facilities. So now we see that's what's happening in Israel. They're running around in the bomb shelters, going up and down, not knowing when to run back, where to run next. And it said in the news, one Friday afternoon, the people don't know where to run. They're running, and they're running from the beach. Almost like showing the same words of the Midrash, that they're running around, like they don't know where to go, because a bomb could be all over, so you don't know where to run. So it's fitting the Midrash now with what's happening today. We just hope Hashem will make a simple and a safe transition into the Yemot HaMashiach. Hopefully this will just be the end of Iran, and it won't be that they do a little bit more damage and then be the end. We always pray for the least amount of damage, but we're still in the roller coaster until Persia will be taken out, however that's going to look. We're still in the roller coaster. Now, when they decided to hit us, Iran and Israel, which was really just out of the blue, because they could have at any time from Simchat Torah, a year or two ago. But they decided it right in Parashat Baha'altech of this year, 2025. And, a lot of people were sending texts and WhatsApp messages that it's fitting the verse that says in Baha'altech Yod 10, Pasuk 9, V'chi tavo'u milchama ba'artzechem, if you will go to war in your land, al hatzar hatzorer etchem, on the enemy that causes you trouble. And it says, you shall blow the trumpets, hatzotzerot, and God will remember you and save you. And then it says, ubyom simchatchem, ubmoatechem, ubrasheh chodshechem, and then it'll be all good times after that. So look how they waged war right on the parasha that it says they're going to wage war. That alone is also amazing. And now if you read the Baal HaTurim, it says like this, Tavo'u milchama. First lidorotechem. It says, V'chi tavo'u milchama, remez lemelchemet Gog. This is a hint to the last war of Gog and Magog. Ha'atida, that in the future, shetavo limot HaMashiach, that will come at the time of Mashiach. And then it says, Tavo'u milchama, it's begematria, in numerical value, b'milchemet Gog, the war of Gog. So the Baal HaTurim is pinning this pasuk, or a couple of pasukim, of the war in Israel to Gog and Magog specifically, the last war. Now, of course, in the Torah, when it says you should go to war, when you go to war and you should blow the trumpets, that's just talking about any time you have a war in the land. In history, you blow the trumpets and God willing, save you. So the chidush of the Baal HaTurim is, besides being any war and a mitzvah to blow the trumpets, this is saying a hint to the last war. And look how it says, be'artzechem, a war in your land. Other wars with the Jews, wasn't always in the land, like Germany and things like that. So this is really the end war that it's talking about. Now what I notice here is, it says right after, Ubyom simchatchem uvmo'adechem. Put those words together. Mo'ed is a holiday. Simcha is the holiday of Simcha, Simchat Torah. Ubyom simchatchem ubmo'adechem. The Mo'ed of Simcha, hinting that's when it's going to be. So forget I ran now in Baha'alotech of 2025, just going back to what happened in Simchat Torah from a couple of years before. It's hinting to that. Look how you have right in here the war of Gog uMagog, and it says something about the holiday of Simcha. Look how amazing Hashem is putting everything in the Torah for you to find it. Of course, hindsight, a great Gedolim might find it before. Like we know, the Gaon Mevilna and others said, but they didn't bring that pasuk. That pasuk is just, staring at you if you look at it now, how it says that. Now, another piece to the puzzle is Rabbi Dan Mechaber from Eretz Yisrael in Beitar Illit. He was explaining to me how not only is this referencing Gog uMagog, like it says in the Mifaresh here, it's also connecting it to Persia. So Persia is connected to Gog uMagog. Now, where do you see Persia in this pasuk? So listen to the rabbi's words about this pasuk.
שמעתי מה שאמרת על הדבר תורה. הבעל התורים הזה, כן, הראו את הבעל התורים הזה, אבל יש איזה המשך מדהים. איך יודעים שזה מדובר על פרס? תזכור טוב את זה, זה חשוב, תגיד לקהל. מה זה עצר הצורר? מה נאמר על המן? איש צר ואויב, המן הרע הזה. והוא פרסי המן, פרס. אז מה זה צורר? אחר כך כתוב, כי המן בן עבדת הצורר כל היהודים. אתה רואה את שתי המילים שקשורים לפרס? צר, הצורר. כי לכאורה למה חזר על זה עוד הפעם, צר וצורר? כדי להראות לך שזה המן, זה פרס. איש צר ואויב, וכי המן בן עבדת צורר היהודים. צר וצורר. זה מראה שזה על פרס. חזק מאוד חזק.
Basically, if you didn't understand, the word Sar and Hatzorer in the verse is used by Haman. He was Ish Sar ve'oyev and Sorer kol HaYehudim. So this pasuk that talks about Gog uMagog has key words in it from the Megillah to link it to Haman, which was a Persian. So that's what it means, Persia. Now, looking at Haman as a Persian makes us realize something. Now, Rabbi Mendel Kessin, many years ago, has told us about what the Chafetz Chaim said about Gog uMagog being split into three phases. He says, Chafetz Chaim, World War I, which he was in, World War II, which he was not in, and yet he called it. He says, Milchemet Olamit Hashniya. And he wasn't there for that. He didn't live for that. So he knew it was coming. And then he said the third phase, which will be later on, which he doesn't know about, which of course will take place in Eretz Yisrael. Now this is written in books. The Malbim talks about it. It's also, if you want to find really where the rabbis get it, there's two chapters in Yechezkel, in Ezekiel. Chapters 38 and then in 39. Two chapters that talk about Gog uMagog in Ezekiel, in Yechezkel, and then one in Zechariah 14. And it talks about in Yerushalayim in Zechariah. So it's like two out of Israel, and one it talks about in Israel. So it's almost like it's split up into three parts, Gog uMagog in the Bible, in the Tanakh. So that's where the rabbis get the idea that there's two out and one inside of Israel. Now, Rabbi Kessin always told us that World War I and World War II was Germany going after the world and trying to kill the Jews. And of course, Hitler, Yemach Shemo, was the Gog. He was the Gog from the land of Magog, which is Germany. And he proves it from many places. And that's Amalek at the end. And the last war is Amalek, and the last war is Magog, so they really are the same. Just like Amalek was the last war before Matan Torah the first time. And that. So now we see something interesting. We've always thought we're going to see Germany head the third phase. But they never did. Germany, nobody's talking about them. I mean, of course, they could still be anti-Semitic or whatever it is, but they're not the ones who's the headlines in the news. So what's going on? Why is it not working systematically? If Germany was 1 and 2, shouldn't they be number 3? So now we see the connection more clearly. And I realized this when Rabbi Mechaber was calling Haman a Parsi, a Persian. So let's look at this. Again, Hitler, Yamach Shemo, and his 10 advisors, or 10, whatever you want to call them. I mean, he was their advisor, of course. So we know the famous Megillah connection, that it says Tafshin Zayin in small letters, and it was the Nuremberg trials. Everyone should know about this. Now, if you think about it, Germany, our Germany of our time here, has nothing to do with the Megillah. What does the Megillah from thousands of years ago have to do with our Germany and what happened in the Holocaust? There's nothing connected with that. But then we see God did connect it. He connected the code of the 10 sons with Haman as Hitler and his 10 officers. So it is connected. So why connect them? And some want to say, I mean, it's only to guess, maybe they were all reincarnations of each other. So God is connecting Germany to Persia to show that it's been Persia all along. Persia is the Magog. It's just they took on the garb or the veneer of Germany, but it's really Persians. And maybe you could coin a phrase like this. The Holocaust, I mean, phase 1 and 2, let's say, was about the Persian people, while phase 3 is about the Persian land. But it's Persia all along. And God showed us that by linking Germany to Persia through Haman and Megillat Esther. One has nothing to do with the other. But by linking it, he's showing it's a Persian war. Even phase 1 and phase 2 has been a Persian war. So phase 3 is following. So it's all following a system. Nothing went out of whack. And we can only see this in hindsight. You know, God builds all the way he does history and peoples, and he makes it all happen. This is not for us to guess beforehand how it all came together to be systematic. This is as you see it, you see what's happening. Now, even Obama, being Gog, like we said in another place, he's a perfect Gog. Maybe you'll say the king of Iran, you know, the leader over there that they're trying to kill. Maybe he's the Gog because he's the leader of Iran. But no, I mean, what does he have to do? He just is Iran. But Obama, he's everybody. He's a Muslim. He's from United States, meaning president. So he has Edom. He has a little bit Yishmael in him, a little bit Edom of him. And he's working with Iran as being always who he's helping, and his goal in life to help Iran to kill the Jews. So he's like a leader that has a little bit of everybody in him. So he's a perfect leader because he represents everybody. That's a perfect Gog type of a person. Just the leader from Iran, he just has Iran. But Obama has everybody on him. He's like a conglomerate of everybody. And he's, of course, helped shape the world into the mess that it's in order to bring destruction. Of course, they think they're bringing their own type of a redemption, but that's what evil does. So even Obama being Gog is not something we could have guessed, because it's not at the end the king of Persia. You see, it's God weaving a story together that you would never think of, but you see his hand when you see it, hindsight. And then you see how he's made all these puzzle pieces come together. We just hope Hashem will, eradicate the evil and, bring us the ultimate redemption. Now, also, now that Trump, fired at Iran this past Shabbat, which was Parashat Shelach, but the Daf Yomi, this idea is going around also, was Erev Shabbat in Avodah Zarah, Daf Bet, the Tosafot there, says that Paras, Atida, Paras, Shetipol Biyad Romi. Persia will eventually fall at the hands of Rome, and Rome is America, and right on this next day, this is Erev Shabbat, which could be like Shabbat, because at night is Shabbat, that's when Trump shot at their 3 locations, and he hopefully weakened them. I mean, it's only the next day here, right now making this recording. We still don't know what's up ahead, but look how again in the Gemara it hit what it said there right on the day of what it was in the Daf Yomi of a 7-year cycle. Now, again, we have to hope and pray that everyone's okay and everything will be fine. Maybe this is just a good scare that God is doing for us. Hopefully there's no killing that God is going to continue with. And however, we have to remember the possibility. If we don't do teshuvah enough, God might do things. So we don't know, and we're always wondering about the young boy Nathan that I referenced a few times and his dream, where he does say there that Iran is going to send a small nuclear bomb, but it's going to freeze in the sky. Anyway, that's what he said. He seemed to have been correct about everything else. So if it stays in the sky, so hopefully it means we're going to be saved from it. But who knows if Iran at the end, they're going to, they're like suicide bombers. They'll go to the end. They don't care if Trump is destroying them. They'll throw the worst missile at the end, even if it's at their own death. They believe destruction will bring their redemption, so they're not afraid of destruction. But anyway, again, we hope everything will be b'shalom and b'shalva, peace and tranquility, and the Geulah Shelema will come here even any minute. Bezrat Hashem.